Good day, fellow stampers. How are you doing? This is week 4 of our Coast to Coast Christmas card series, and I am Nemi Batstone coming to you recorded from my studio in Cooks Creek, Manitoba. I'm here with Nemi's Crafty Cafe. So today we're gonna do week 4. I still owe you week 3, and if this works, well then week 3 is coming. So once again, we've been doing a 6-week series, coast to coast, with a few demonstrators and having a lot of fun. We have been featuring some key paper, like the Modern Day Christmas, Gingerbread Man stamp set, what's the other coloring one? Pine tree trimmings, ornamental trimmings, and ornamental Christmas. And just a reminder too that we have free shipping starting October 20th to 22nd to 24th. So if you don't have these stamp sets yet, now is the time to pick them up. So let's make sure I have everything ready. I thought I did, but I don't. So the 2 stamp sets of this week that we're featuring are these 2 here, Ornamental Christmas and Homemade Treats. And so the 2 cards we're going to be working on for this series to this week is these 2 cuties. So there's a lot of die cutting. There's no fussy cutting, just die cutting going on here. So, but it's so worth it. So I think I have all my pieces. So let's make sure I do, but we'll find out as we go along. So I'm just gonna hop on over to week 4. There it is. And make sure we are good to go. And let's get crafty here. Okay. So I gotta make sure I can follow along with my tutorial on these 2. Make sure I know what I'm doing. So we're gonna do this one, which is a great fun fold. So it's your standard Z fold. Well, not standard, but similar to a Z fold with a twist there. So it's a little fun fold twist, which actually stands up just like so. So from the side, you can see it like that. And it's a great little card that's really easy and fun to use. What I love about it is it focuses on background and as well as a focal point in the front. So let's grab our pieces here. So you're going to need a card base along with another fun fold in the middle, and then your layers and your other pieces. Now, I've pre-done some of it to help speed up things, but I will do one embossing in case you've never embossed before and you've not sure how that is done. So for those of you that have already embossed before, then you can stop this video here, and you're going to need 4 of the trees. So I have 4 trees heat embossed already, and that is using Ornamental Christmas here, this little guy. And of course there's the coordinating die, so we're going to use that one. So you're just going to heat emboss in white using that, and then you got to heat emboss your sentiment. Okay, so we'll put that aside and let's get that done. So I have my little piece here. Now this is a cling stamp, so I don't need a mat underneath, but I do need a big block. So we're gonna place this block, which is block H. And we're, of course, when you heat emboss, oh, I just realized my heat gun is super far away. I've been rearranging my room, trying to make things work more efficiently. And let's see if this will reach. Oh, it might. Okay. So we'll see if that works. Otherwise, it's just plugged in elsewhere. Okay, so you always want to try and get that grease off there, right? So that's what your little embossing buddy is for, which comes in a kit with our embossing kit. But I like to keep my embossing powder. I'm just gonna move my pieces here. I like to keep my embossing powder in a bowl, because for me it's just easier. I use so much of it and I don't want to keep transferring and cleaning the tray. So I'm just being efficient. Okay, so we're gonna add some embossing ink here which is our Versamark. I like to pat it down quite a bit because I don't trust myself, and also because I use it so much, I never know if I need to re-ink again. So we're just gonna line that up, center it, hold it there for about 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, it'll stick, and then drop. So then there is your sentiment. So now we're gonna take some tweezers because it's just too hard for me to pick up. And we're gonna dip it in our embossing powder. There you go. And then we're gonna do it again just to make sure I got all my powder in there. And then there might be a couple spots where I need to do some cleanup, and I see that. So I'm gonna grab my, oh, I just saw it, there it is. Take your pick tool. I'm like, where did it go? And I'm gonna try and just remove some of those fluffies that are in the way. They're so small that I just don't want to get a brush in there and then be in trouble. But you can use a really tiny brush, which I've done in the past, and I probably will need here. But let me see if I can clean it up without. My eyes are getting bad. It's harder to see even if I'm wearing progressives. Okay, so we're gonna put our spoon back in because it's gonna melt. Okay, so we're gonna take our handy dandy embossing tool, or a heat tool, and then we're just gonna heat that up. And what I love is how it just changes colors. I think that's my favorite part and why I've been embossing for so long. I was actually embossing before Stampin' Up got a heat tool. So you can see my heat tool is probably, I'm gonna age myself, like 30 years old. It's probably one of the main tools I bought right away when it came out. And we're just waiting till it turns bright white. Once it turns bright white, we know we're done. Oh yeah, if you flip it over and heat the other side, it reforms your paper, but it also heats up the powder. So you can heat it up from both sides. I've got one spot here that I seem to have missed, and I saw it as soon as it lit up. See if I can get it out. There we go. Okay, so there is our sentiment, and we got all our pieces. So all we have to do is assemble and stamp. So we do need to stamp this one. So this one we're going to stamp with Ornamental Christmas and stamp the inside. So all the measurements are obviously with the tutorial. So if you place a order this week, including the free shipping, I will send it to you because you know there's free shipping. So you have to place a minimum order of $100 to get free shipping. So if you get free shipping, then I will send you as a gift a copy of this tutorial. It has all the measurements, all the step-by-steps. I think it's like, how many pages is it? This is like 30 pages. And it has colored pictures and all your supplies needed, etc., etc. So you can make it over and over again whenever you want. So we're just stamping Merry Christmas here at the center and at the top. There we go. And because as you cut your pieces, you always get always end up with a little strip. So we're gonna add that strip here at the bottom. Okay, so I have a row of trees. You know what, I think I just grab my glue here. And we're just gonna add that on. So this is the inside of the card. Okay, stick that there. I mean, it's pretty simple. And there we go. yeah. I also am happy to report that the Canada strike is also over. Yay. Which also means that I can now start shipping kits again. Woohoo! So super excited about that. Now what did I do with all my trees? Oh, there they are. I'm like, I need my trees. So I need one tree here on the inside because we did 4. So that one tree is gonna go here off to the side. Now, if you like to write and put in a lot of, you know, detail in like journaling to whomever you're gifting this to, then by all means rearrange. So I'm not that type, so you can move or you could eliminate this tree. So then that way you have more space. You can move your Merry Christmas up or put your Merry Christmas down here or put a smaller sentiment so that you have room. Just letting you know, like, but this is the way the card was designed and I really like it. So I have no problem not putting any notes in there. Or you could also add a little piece of paper if you prefer and write a story. Or are you a letter writer when you do Christmas cards? Do you do a Christmas letter? That's another question. So there you go. So I always like to stamp first. I should have stamped first because if I made a mistake, then I can obviously flip it over. And so I probably shouldn't have did all my gluing. Should have stamped first and then did that. But I got excited. So anyway, I was excited to share that with you. So we have our card base. Make sure it's clean here. Excuse me. And I'm gonna put that away. And my take your pick tool so I'm not looking and hunting for it. Okay, so then we're gonna flatten that. And then, so this is a double. So we got the Z fold in the front and then the card here on the inside. So we're gonna glue that down on the inside. So fun. It's so fun when you add the layers because that's what makes your card way better than the dollar store. Okay. Yeah. Do you ever get those at Christmas? You get like six cards of the same because people don't really understand what. It's like, thanks, but you know, I would have liked a more heartfelt card rather than I picked you up at the dollar store. So here's our Z fold. And that's what's gonna go here. So we're gonna add our designer series paper first. So we have our trees with the beautiful stars in the back. So pick whichever designer series paper you want. And that's gonna go right here. And then we also have from Modern Christmas, this one here, the dots. There's so many backgrounds to choose from. You can also color these trees in. I've seen people take, I've seen demonstrators take blends and color in some of the trees. So I thought that that's a great idea. That's fun. Not all the trees. You could just color in a few. Well, I guess you could do all the trees. Really, that's up to you. But I've seen them do all the trees, some of the trees, just to add a bit of a focal point. And just so you know, you have tons of different colors to use here, or patterned papers, because look at all of them. Like, they all have like gold in them somewhere, except for the B side. So this is a B, or whichever, the back side. They're more neutral, but then you have all that. I didn't put the matching colors because it's really basic black, gold, and white. So, I mean, I know what those colors are. That's why I like to have those DSP sheets. We call them shares. So, they really come in handy when you're like, oh, what do I want? Which one has those patterns again? And then I just pull those out and go, oh, yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. And then I know which pack to go to. So it gives me a little bit, it's like a sampler of what is in each designer series package. There you go. Uh-oh. I just realized I lost my ribbon. It's in the abyss with the rest of my ribbons and a few other items that are missing in my craft room. For some reason, I cannot find them. They were here just before I left for PEI, and now they're not. So I'm going to use some gold twisted thread because I can't find my ribbon pack. So there's cornelian ribbon that we've been using throughout this series. And it is gorgeous. Oh, she didn't list it in this one, but yet she has it. Hang on, what is it called? Is it in mine? Yeah, she doesn't have it listed. Oh wait, it could be in the instructions here. So, farm, add your tree and embellish with the gold traditional sequence. Oh, stamp, add here, place a piece of loop twine. Oh, it's just a loop twine. Let me see if I can find it in one of our. Oh, I didn't use it. Like seriously, I lost all my ribbon. Like how does someone you lose a bin of ribbon? Black and white, oh there it is. Black and white and gold baker's twine. And how like it was literally here, I swear, like a week ago. So before I left, and now I can't remember where I put it because I left my craft room as a major disaster. And then one of my fellow demonstrators, Shell, she gave me a table, which I love, by the way, but I couldn't make it work. So I put it in, had to rearrange and use it as, well, for my income for classes. So then I don't have to use my dining table, which is fantastic. However, it takes up quite a bit of my room. And now I found out my sister-in-law is coming with us. So my craft room is also my spare room. So it's like, oh no, I don't have enough space. Okay. So I have to finish up my purging so I have room. Okay, so take any twine you have. I'm just using Seal Plus to add a little bit in the back so I can do a loop-de-loop. You don't need a lot because this is obviously a very small sentiment and you don't want it hanging off the card too much because then it gets stuck in your envelope. Now that we can finally, okay, it's gonna take a while, but at least we can, Canada Post is back in action. Now, I like to also, where did my tear tape go? Okay, I was gonna add a piece of tearing tape there just to hold it in place, which is, for some reason, MIA as well. I was busy working this weekend and now I can't find anything. Okay, well, plus I had people here on Friday, which was fantastic. It feels so good to be crafting again like that. Okay, we're just gonna trim that, put that back in. Again, the black looks much more nicer than the gold because it matches the black motif, that theme we're going here. But I can't seem to find it. So we're just gonna improvise here just so you know. Okay, so all we have to do now is grab some dimensionals to put on the back. So I'm gonna use some minis. And stick those there. And peel them off. Okay. And I'm pretty much going to make sure that my little thread and using the dots as a guide to make sure I'm not off the page too much. And then these just go here. So we're going to close it so we can see what it looks like. And this one we're going to glue down, and then the other two we're going to pop up. So we're just going to try and find that center. Now we're not going to add glue to the whole thing because otherwise it's not going to stick. Then we can't open up our Z-fold. Our Z-fold becomes useless. So we're going to put that right about where we think center is. And then we're only going to add glue to the part that's actually getting exposed. So probably, yeah, right about there, maybe. See, I love liquid glue because you can just move it around. And then for the other ones, we're going to use dimensionals. So I'm going to swap for bigger ones. And then this one's going to go on this side, if I can pick it up. So again, we want to know where that is. If you get tons of that white powder on the back, just clean it off. I just want to clean off what I know is going to get exposed. There we go. I feel all stuffed up today. I don't know why, but I am. Okay. So we're going to add in a couple there. 2 should be enough. I mean, this is pretty strong adhesive. Okay. And we're just going to add this here a little lower. And then we're going to add this one here. So again, a little lower so that they line up. Okay. And then we're done card number 1. I know it looks so simple, but you'll take a little bit more time to heat emboss. I want to make sure I'm straight. Okay. And there we have it. So they have a beautiful background, so when they open it out of the envelope, it's going to look like this. And then they're like, oh, there's a little pop-up there, like so. And then that's your Z-fold. So all we have to do now is add that to our card base, and then we're done. Oh, yeah. Actually, my adhesive's a little farther away than I expected. I'm temporarily using a folding table, and it's a lot wider than I thought. So not a bad thing until I can get to IKEA this weekend and get a new table. Okay, so I'm like, finally, a new table. Okay, and there we go. There is card 1. So with our lovely fold and our internal card there, so you have that nice extra to the card that is available. So I hope you like that. And that is our card. So again, way better with that black and gold twine, which is sitting in my room here somewhere. I just don't know where, but we can't seem to find it. Oh, I forgot to add the bling. She added bling. So let's make sure we add that bling. How do we forget the bling? So this is currently unavailable. It is the traditional sparkling sequins. I apologize for that, but it should be coming back in stock soon. So make sure you pick some up because it is definitely a popular one. So we're gonna grab, I'd say gold, and we're gonna stick one there. I'm just grabbing different sizes. So you pick whichever sizes you like. And we're gonna put some right there. Did I do that on that one? No, I didn't, I forgot. And then we can even put some on the inside. Because you know what's great about these ones is it's flat. Oops, too high. Or I mean, too far. I wanted it closer. So then that way, I can still put the person's name along the top. The recipient. Okay? And I can't find, so I don't think we need my embossing powder anymore. So I'll put that away. And there we go. So have a little more bling. 1, 2, 3, because we don't want anything in evens. And we're good. Okay, so that was a lot of fun. We're going to keep this out because I know I need it again. I hope you like that one. And we're going to jump into card number 2. So again, all the instructions and measurements are in the tutorial for you to use. Now, if you don't want it, you can also buy it. So I'll make sure the link is in the bottom. So you can click on that. And I think I'm just selling it for $15. Like, as if it's it was a lot of work. Tutorials are a lot of work, peeps. Like, they're not my favorite thing. I don't think any of us demonstrators really like it. Oh, I shouldn't say that. There's a few that really do like writing tutorials. I'm just not one of them. Okay, I keep banging everything. Let's get started. Okay, so we need this one. And here's our card. So again, this one is a fun fold. So you get 2 fun folds this week, which is pulling this up. And it's attached. And what's really cool, let's try to get my sample gift card here for you, is the gift card just goes in right here. So I've got a little notch. So I'm gonna make sure I've got that. And you can see it slides up and down. Now, isn't that cool? Okay, so let me show you how to put this trickster together. It looks hard, but it's really not. I think the hardest part of this, and those of you who know, I'm not a big fan of lawn fawn. I love the cuteness, but honestly, I can't be bothered to cut all that. It's all die cut. And man, when I had to do the little mice for a class I was in, I was like, forget it. Okay, so you're gonna need a piece of scrap white. And we're gonna have to do all that stamping. So you're gonna need a ton of different colors. Well, not a ton. Let me see what she says in the tutorial. Oh, where did it go? Oh, here it is. Okay, so we need, for this one, what were my colors? Pecan pie for sure, garden green, and real red. Okay, see, it wasn't that bad. Why am I stacking this here? Because I know I'm just going to end up losing them if I don't stack this properly. Okay, so there should be, there's a scrap piece of white. And then you're going to need, we're going to do all of our little stamping first. So you're going to need some, what did I say? Pecan pie. I had it already here. Real red and garden green. Okay. So you're going to need all three of those. So we'll just prep those up. And you're going to need a lot of blocks. Okay, so there's my three colors. And we're going to need the oven mitt. So see, you get to die cut it all. And thank you for giving me 2 gingerbreads, 2 candy canes, and 2 hats, because that sure made things easier. So we need that. We need our gingerbread. We need our pastry tool. And we also need our roller, I should say. Okay. And then there's a cookie tray sheet here. So you're going to have to die cut that in silver. Now we need some blocks. So I'm going to grab my mini for my gingerbread. I'm going to grab my narrow for the rolling pin. And then I'm going to grab my B blocks. Might be a little small, so I probably need one size up. There we go. Oh, that one's smaller. And for those, and then we just stamp. So we're going to get our garden green. And then, yes, we have to die cut all of this. So we're going to get our garden green. And then we need our rolling pin, which I thought I did in a different color. Yeah, crumb cake. I'm like, oh, maybe there's more colors. Okay, so we need crumb cake. So add that here. I'm just leaving space so that I can die cut it all. And then we need our pastry. And we're using real red. Like, you can do these in any color. Who says it has to be normal? Okay, there's our pastry. And then we need 4 gingerbread men. So we're going to try and space these apart on our scrap piece of paper so that we can die cut them all at once, or as much as we can at once. Okay, so there's our pieces. I don't think I'm missing anything. Oh, I'm missing 2 candy canes. So we need 2 candy canes as well. Forgot about the candy canes. And those are red. Okay, so we're definitely gonna have to die cut twice. There's one there, and then one there. Okay, so we'll die cut those separately. So that is all we need. So then we're gonna take our, you can pause here and die cut all your pieces. Now, if you did not buy the bundle and save 10%, then you have to pause and fussy cut all of these. That's a lot. But hey, if you like fussy cutting, by all means, go ahead. Now, you'll need a sentiment thing here. So she used one from the iconic imagery set. And I am going to use the one from our new bundle, Traditional Label. And that's this one here. So that's Mary Mary. And I noticed I don't have one. So I'm going to take that out. Now I'm going to show you a trick. It's about being a little frugal. So this is our piece here that goes like, there's two ways. You can do it here or on this piece or on the inside. But this piece is our piece that goes on the inside. So we fold that down so that we're stuck and we got our slider. And then we fold this down because this is the piece that actually goes where we stick our gift card holder. And then I'm just going to take a round punch. Doesn't matter which punch you use. This happens to be 1.5. And then we're just going to add a bit of a slit here, just centering. So then that way you know where that goes. So how am I being frugal? Well, let me explain. Because I don't, it's just, if you have scrap lying around, perfect. But if you do not, you can cut the inside here because nobody's going to see it. That's me being frugal. So you can cut that piece there because it's going to be hidden like so and no one's going to see it. You can also do it on here, which is pretty much the middle. And that's why when you sometimes get my kits, there's like holes, die cuts in it, because that's where I stuck things. So let's use this one because we're gonna cover it with the pan anyway. So I'm just gonna go over to my emboss machine because it's set up over here. And I don't want to have to move everything since I'm on a temporary table with you right now. But I'm just gonna run it through my big boss because that's what I got set up. All that rain, right? And then that is good to go. So there we go. But no one's gonna see it because we're actually gonna have it covered. So I'm gonna put that die back in its case. I haven't even labeled this one yet. And we're gonna stamp Mary on it. So I'm using, you can use whichever one you have in your stash, but I'm going to use Mary. And it's a little curved. So here's another trick and what I love about polymers. Polymer stamps. You can actually curve it to straighten it out. I didn't do that here, which actually looks really nice because then I can add that. But I just want to make sure I show you all the neat little tricks because, hey, that's what I'm here for. Okay, so we're going to take our block and see it's curved. Oh, here, I'll put it here. You can see that it has a slight curve in it because it's meant to go on the other sentiments. But if you don't want that curve, you can just straighten this out. I have to look at it. Sorry. You can manipulate or mold so that it is straight. That looks pretty straight. Then we're going to take our red. It's see-through too, so you can see. And I'll show you the difference. So I'm gonna ink up my red. I have to turn this and I'm using a matte this time. And I'm just putting it at the top more because I want to put my 2 embellishments there, which you don't have to do, by the way. You can center it. There we go. So here's the difference. Straight, curved. I don't know if you can see that, but that is the difference. Okay, so we've die cut that, Let's, why is it so heavy? Move that out of the way. Okay, and we're just gonna clean all that off because it's red, so I want to get as much red off there as I can. And just so you know, it does mold back into shape. It might take a bit, but it does. And, oh yeah, I need that piece. And then I'll just put it back. Now, if you're not sure if it molded exactly into shape, then you can just follow the template here and mold it back in. And it'll just literally go back to its normal shape. Okay. Now that that's done, okay. So I took the liberty of, let's make sure, oh, there it is. cutting all of it ahead of time to save us time, so you don't have to sit here and watch me do that. So let's hope I've got all my pieces already. Oh, I did have a piece of scrap to die cut. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Okay, I think I do. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Making sure, because they have a tendency to go everywhere. 6. So what am I missing? I'm like tapping everything because you never know. Oh, okay, see a couple more pieces in there. There we go. There's my 4. There's my 2. And everything's there. Okay, excellent. So much fun. So cute. Okay, so let's get that all stuck on here. So our first thing is we're going to take our sheet pan. And like I said, we're going to cover this up. So that is where that's going. So to make sure I'm good, I'm just going to add some adhesive all around my little die cut. And that'll hold this in place. It's enough because we're going to cover it with a bunch of the other stuff. So we're going to need some minis. I'm going to take a pick tool because I was having some trouble. So then we're going to take our oven mitt and we're going to place that. So let's add some littles, some minis on here. I called them littles. That's funny. Okay. And then that's going to go right about here. Every card will be slightly different. And then we need our gingerbread man. So that our gingerbread cookies. And they're just going to sprinkle all over the pan. Now, we're going to have one hanging off so that it's kind of fun looking here. You can see. Okay, I can't pick these guys up. There we go. So let's add him or her with a little dot on the top. That gives me my point, which is right about there. And then we'll build up from there. Okay. Take these off. So then our other cookie is going here. And then another cookie here. And one more at the top. Seriously, don't know why I'm so stuffed up. Okay, there we go. And then we just got to add our rolling pin, which is going to go along this side. And then our pastry tool, which will go here. So we'll add that. And, oh. So I'm going to put 3, just because I know the tip, oops. There you go. The tip of our pastry, pastry bag. I think, what did I keep calling it? Feel free to comment and make fun of me. Okay, because I make fun of myself. There we go. Now, because that's going to layer a bit, we're not going to put one on there. So we'll make sure we leave space on the tip there. I'll stick there and there. I'm just going to peel these off real quick. And then that will go right about there. I'm just going to line it up in the same direction as my pan. And that should be all our pieces there. So some assembly required. So this is a matchstick fold. So there's a fold here on the bottom. This is our card base. And we've put in a 1/8 inch space here because, you know, matches like the little matches that we don't see anymore. Fold and have a little bit of a lip. So we're going to add that little bit there. Next generation of children are like, what are matchstick boxes? That was what we called them back in the day? I can't remember. You know, when we'd say, you got a light, and we'd pull those out instead of an actual lighter. So there you go. So there's a bit of an overlap because that's how they work. They tuck, but we're not tucking because it just looks cool. Now, to get the inside, so this is actually our top. So let's put these on here. So this one's actually going here. So this is from our Christmas Tags and More pack. It is so versatile, so much fun in that pack. So we're gonna add that here, and we're gonna put that here. So that becomes our front piece. This beautiful piece we just finished decorating is gonna go there. Oops. So we're gonna add our adhesive to the back. And this becomes our front. And we're gonna add that here and just center it. Okay. So remember that one gingerbread's hanging over because it's just gonna go like that. Perfect. Okay. And then we need our other piece, which is going here. So we're gonna add a couple dimensionals on that. I'll just grab the big ones. Saves me time. There we go. Now you could do any sentiment, and you could center your sentiment, go to the left. I'm choosing to go to the right. And hers, it's in the middle. And then on the inside, this is where we're gonna put our mechanism. So we're going to need some adhesive. I can't seem to find my tear and tape, so I'm going to use Soup Wang. It's the same thing. I know I didn't run out. I'm telling you, I was so busy creating this weekend. Trying to play catch up from PEI that I've put it somewhere along with my ribbons, which I can't seem to find either. Okay. Just making conversation. But feel free to comment, right? That's what it's there for. Okay, so there. So now we need a piece along the top as well. Oh, like, where did I put it? And this is what's gonna allow our piece to act like a look all fancy. And we're going to take that and stick it on the inside. Now, there's our score line there. So we're gonna go above our score line. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this and peel it back just a wee bit, okay? And then we'll tear it back, okay? So this is gonna go right above our score line here, like so. So you're just gonna try and make sure it's centered before we pull that. And that's what, so when you open it, it pulls with the top. See that? Oh, I should do my stamping first. So let's do our stamping just to make sure. So we need that big Merry Christmas again. Okay. Should have just kept it on the block. Okay, so we're gonna add that. Make sure we're all nice and inked up. Add that to the top here. Just centering it. There we go. And then we're gonna add our two mini. I'm going to use mini dimensionals because I don't like getting glue all over my fingers with these little guys. And I'm gonna add. So we're gonna put one there. And then we're gonna put one. Now, if you prefer to have these ones on the front and a gingerbread on the inside, whatever, it's yours. You can do whatever you like. And so whatever you think is pretty. Okay, so that's gonna go there. And the thing is, as this lines up here at the top, oh, I just realized I made a boo-boo, so I'll make sure. This here has to make sure it's also not coming out too far. So we wanna make sure that as you pull this up, it's not disappearing too much and pulling out completely. So it is a little bit, so I'm just gonna drop this a bit more. Okay, right along that line. It is on the top part, yeah, it is, okay. And then that goes there. Okay, I think I'm okay with that. Oops, lost my tab. So I'm gonna pull that off. And like I said, we're just above the score line. The problem with tear tape is once you stick it, you can't fix it. Okay, and then we need a couple pieces here. Forgot about that, to keep that flap up. So we're gonna put that there. Now you can with tear and tape just tear, but I like my edges straight, which is why I always use something to help me cut them. I know I'm weird that way, but I think that's for my scrapbooking days. When I scrapbook, I do that, and so it does. But honestly, it's tear and tape, so that's why we tear. So now this just comes straight up, and then this still has room to move because, so now your mechanism is, got all these backings everywhere. So this slides in, oh, come on, okay. There we go, and then now it pulls up and exposes your gift card. So it slides back and forth. Huh, it's so fun. That's it. So now all we have to do is embellish. Oh, why are these in the wrong spot? There we go. So now we're just gonna add some red. So I'm gonna put one, yeah, put one up there. Then I take a medium and stick a medium up there with it. I'm gonna take a big one and stick it down here in the corner. And yeah, I think, yeah. Oh yeah, and I put two more down here. So add a couple green ones because we have green. I wanted two more. In her design, she didn't put any on hers, but I have room to do that. Oh, I think this one's the wrong size. Oh no, it's the right size. Never mind. Just gonna move this guy over a bit more. Okay, there we go. So open it up and there's a gift card there for you. How cute is that? This is my original in here. So I have two different silvers, but that's just to show you. And this one is curved, this one is straight, but pretty much the same. So I hope you enjoyed those. So we did this one and then we did the tree. And I hope you have fun creating these. I just love the bits and pieces, although I'm not a big fan. But I just don't like die cutting a ton just to make one card. But that's just me. Oh, shoot. Sorry, we're not done because I forgot to stick our last piece. This piece goes up here. Oops. Which just lines up with the bottom. Sorry about that. So let's just add our little bit of adhesive along the edges there. My apologies. So this one is slightly smaller and you'll probably go, why doesn't it line up? But it does because we're just filling that gap there. So that way when you open it up, you've got your plaid, and then your gift card. Okay, so you can make it as big as you want, but that's how she designed it and I love it. And I love what she's done. Okay, so this is the end of week 4. And if this worked, we will film week 3 and it'll come your way. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you really like these and enjoy making them. So tune in next Monday or tune in again this week. So make sure you look back. And don't forget about free shipping, the 22nd to the 24th. And we are on the end of also the join special. So I would really love to have you on my team. and help me reach gold status. Although I prefer just being a silver elite demonstrator. So if you would like to help me out, that'd be fantastic. And if you'd like a community that likes to get together and meet and share and create together, then my community is definitely one you want to consider. So have a great day. Happy stampin', and we'll see you again soon. Good day.